All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We got another live video podcast tonight. Got a special guest with us, my man Scott Green here from Elliott Insurance Company. So we have a very important topic, but then again, I say everything's very important, but I think it's very beneficial for folks to really understand that if you have been charged with OVI or you have a driving offense on your record, it is not the end of the world. So what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be talking about how an OVI charge can impact your car insurance, but most importantly, what you can do to get yourself back up and keep moving forward if you have been charged with OVI. And Scott's going to be giving us some tips about insurance and tips about maybe not losing your insurance or how to get your license back as quick as possible. So we're just going to be diving into that. First thing we're doing is making sure we are live here, testing this real fast. Okay, we're live. Boom, there we go. All right, so Scott Green, I've known you for about 2 years now, and I imagine that a lot of people watching this probably know you as well. So tell us a little bit about yourself and why insurance? Why are you so passionate about it?
Oh, man. So born and raised in Springfield, Ohio. Been here 33 years now.
How old are you?
33.
So your whole life?
Yeah.
Good deal.
So insurance, I don't think there's anyone out there that I know of that's ever felt like from day one at career day in high school or elementary school, whatever, that they were going to go, hey, I want to be an insurance guy or lady.
Is that your story? Was this from an early age? You knew exactly what you wanted to do?
No, it's not. This is still where I'm at right now. I never expected this, but I'll tell you what's really cool is how it found me. Totally a God story. Too long probably to share on here. But one of the interesting things is, how everything came full circle. A lot of people don't know this, but my parents, when they were like 20 years old, we had a house fire when I was like 4.
Oh, wow.
And they lost everything they owned. And 2 weeks before that happened, they had just canceled their renter's insurance because they couldn't afford like $16 a month at the time. So I'm now living that life and trying to prevent that from happening to other people.
And so, you were 4 years old?
4 years old.
And do you remember it happening?
I do. I can remember bits and pieces of it. I remember, I think my dad just told me the other day, it was July 6th of 1990. So just a couple of days after July 4th.
So your family rented a home, you're 4 years old, They have a house fire and lose everything.
Lost everything. And man, it's really sad because there's still times when my mom is 50. I'm going to go on the low side and say 50, Mom, just in case you're watching. But we'll be sitting at a family function or something, and she'll say, man, I'm going to go grab that picture, and then remembers that it disappeared in that fire. So
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Didn't know I was going to share that with you tonight. But.
Man, well, it's crazy where our passion comes from, and most of the time it comes from our personal experience.
That's true.
So at an early age, losing everything growing up and, starting fresh, living in Springfield, Ohio your whole life. So at what age or where did the idea of insurance get planted in your mind? Where did that come from?
So, this kind of became the perfect career for me because I've always been a worrier and I love people. I love relationships. That's what's most important to me. And it kind of worked out that insurance, I get to go out and form relationships with people every day. And at the same time, I get to worry about them all the time too. And try to take care of the things that they worry about or the things that keep them up at night or the same things that keep me up at night. So, yeah.
So what is so full-time insurance agent, what types of insurance do you offer? And just give me a bird's eye view overview of, because when I think of insurance, I think of that stuff I don't like to pay, that stuff that comes out of my paycheck every month without a doubt, that stuff that I get the bill in the mail that I'm thinking, God, I got to pay this again, right? How do you go about handling the folks that don't, like myself, that need insurance, that have to have it, but that don't understand the full value of it?
Okay, so to answer your first question, the things that we offer are home and auto. You're at the personal level. We also do life insurance, and then we also do commercial insurance for businesses, whether you be a startup or a bigger business, whichever. But insurance is one of those things that it's very difficult to get someone to buy into a piece of paper. Like, hey, this is going to cost you $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, but I know you're not walking away with an iPhone or anything like that.
Yeah.
But you are walking away with a promise. And, you know, the unfortunate thing sometimes is people don't truly see what we do until they need to use us or they need us. And hopefully no one ever needs to use us. But that's when we step up, we walk you through the process that we do on a daily basis with people and, you know, take you from one of the biggest tragedies in your life to back to whole as quickly and as smoothly as possible.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So I know, you know, you guys, you cover our business insurance and it's I know for me, it is a feeling of peace, right? Knowing that if anything goes wrong, I know we're covered. I know we're legit. I know we got everything taken care of and I know I can pick up the phone and call you right away.
Yep.
But here's the thing, like, so I have my own personal like car insurance and home insurance. I don't know the guy, right? I don't know where he's from. I don't know his office. Haven't switched over to you yet, right? So tell me about like, what's the value of actually having a relationship with your insurance provider?
Sure.
Like, or does that even matter?
No, that matters. That does matter. So we're not just a 1-800 number. You're not going to call and get 50 different people if you call 50 different times. Being an agent, and I'm not just speaking on my behalf, but for, you know, all the agents that are around us, there's a lot of good ones. If you have that fire at 3 o'clock in the morning or your basement is filling up with water at 2 a.m., I want to be your first phone call.
Right.
You know, it's one of those things where, again, the worst thing in your life is going on at that time, and you almost need someone who's just calm and has been through it before that can kind of talk you off the cliff almost and tell you, hey, Eric, this is where we need to start. Mm-hmm. First thing I need you to do, or first thing I need you to tell me is everyone okay?
Right.
Yes. Okay. Then we can fix everything else. Let's just start from step one. The other big thing is, you know, we have an office here in Springfield that people can walk into. Yep. And if you just have basic questions, you can come in and see me personally. Or you can pick up the phone. Every one of my clients has my cell phone number.
Good deal.
Everyone.
Good deal. So I think that it's nice to know, hey, this is a person, right? It's not an 800 number, just like you said. But I think that now specifically for the folks that I work with or that our team works with for our driver's intervention program, you know, there's a part in which our program where we do different groups. And one of those groups is like a consequences group, specifically financial consequences. One thing that we like to do is we like to have folks tally up the financial cost of their entire OVI charge. So I'm talking like court fines, reinstatement fees, attorney fees, program fees, like, you know, missing work, wrecking their car, you know, the amount of alcohol they like down to the penny that they can. And then I start talking to them about the consequences that are going to arise that they don't even realize yet, you know, and one of those consequences is insurance. I've had people tell me before, you know, Eric, when I got charged with OVI and my insurance company found out about it, they dropped my policy, right? They just cut me off,
Sure.
You know, and I'm like, good God, like that would be horrible right there. And then I got some people who will say, well, my insurance company, they don't have to know about this. Like, do I have to tell them? Should I tell them? When should I tell them? What do I tell them when I tell them? Because one thing they know for sure, or one thing that they expect, is that their rates are going to go immediately through the roof as soon as they tell their insurance company. So tell me a little bit about, first off, the have-tos, the should-dos, and the best practice when it comes to talking to your insurance provider. And I know you can speak from experience here. You know, we don't know the 800 guys. We don't know what the heck they're going to do. But in your experience, like when someone gets charged with OVI, like what's the best possible route they can take?
Well, you know, the first thing to me is don't panic. I've had a lot of people come into my office that even after it happens, they make stupid decisions. You know, OVIs happen. It does not have to define you. It is not the end of the world. There are people that, believe it or not, when something like that's going on, that are trying to help you get to where you need to be. So the insurance companies, they're going to find out. They're going to find out. They run MVRs periodically at renewals, things like that, where they may send a letter out that says, hey, you know, December 9th, when your policy renews, we're going to non-renew you. We're going to get off your insurance. They have to give you proper notice. It's not something where they just, you know, you get it last night, and then today they're calling you and saying, hey, figure something out, we're done.
Right.
You know? So, yeah, the first thing I would say is don't panic. Don't let it define you. It's one bad decision, but, you know, insurance costs, generally it goes up. It's not always outrageous like people think it is. There's a lot of factors that go into place or come into play. It can be your age makes a difference. Your insurance score, which involves your credit, makes a difference.
Right.
It's not just that one event that happens that determines all of that. And, you know, if your company, sometimes people will be concerned or freaking out and wondering why they're also non-renewing their house. Well, sometimes the case for that is your policies are bundled into one package. So it's not as easy as them just getting off the auto part. They have to get off
the whole bang, the whole shebang.
Yes, but again, there's options.
Right.
That doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to automatically, your insurance is going to go up thousands of dollars overnight. Don't panic.
Right.
The last thing you want to do, and I'm going to share this story. I had someone come into my office one time who just had a DUI, was underage, and he wanted me to backdate his insurance to where he had it effective before the OVI happened.
OVI? Okay.
And I told him, you know, I can't do that. That's not even an option. And the person actually offered me money.
Yeah, I got 100 right here for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And it's like, you know, unfortunately they're, you know, again, you're going through kind of a downward spiral where you feel like everything's falling apart, and that's not the case. You don't have to make even worse decisions because you made a bad one.
Right.
Just one, be thankful that you're still alive.
Yeah.
And that you didn't hurt anybody.
Yep.
And just pick the
mistakes
pieces
are
up. It's fine.
temporary. You know, this
Right.
is when you look back on it, you're like, you know, in my own experience, when I got, you know, my drunk driving incident when I was like, yeah, it messed my life up, but it was a massive learning experience, you know, and in Ohio, it's a privilege to drive. And we really forget that until our license are taken from us or our privileges are taken from us, and we can no longer transport ourselves freely as we would like to. So let me ask you this. Let's say somebody goes out and gets charged with the OVI on a Friday night, right? And it's nothing serious. Let's say you're their provider. They get charged with OVI on a Friday night, and they're in their mind, they're saying, should I call Scott? Should I not call Scott? Should I wait till renewal? Like, what would you recommend?
The first thing that I'm going to ask is, before you make that decision, you call me, because I will come get you. It's not worth it. But if you do make the decision and you are caught and that happens, I still want you to call me.
Yeah.
Let me know what's going on, and you know, we'll start walking through the process before you don't want it to be, you want to be proactive. You don't want to be reactive. Right. Because those periods of time, the time windows start getting smaller and smaller where you have to start rushing to get stuff. Some of the companies that we use when people do get OVIs do offer things called advanced quote discounts. So we can start preparing for that before it even happens.
Right.
And
so they know what's coming.
Yeah, I would definitely say don't keep that stuff from your insurance person. You definitely need to reach out to them, because you should have an insurance agent that's on your side.
Right. Absolutely. So what about this different scenario? And I'm just, you know, I've got a lot of questions that are on my mind because of all the people that we work with. And I think, man, what can I do to add value to these folks? Because like they're getting hit from every possible way that they can. Courts, job, I mean, family, every such way, every way possible. So let's say somebody gets their license suspended for a year, right? Which is very common for an OVI, getting your license suspended for a year. Let's say this person's like, well, man, I've got, you know, do I continue to pay this extra $100 a month insurance because my license is already suspended? Let's say that they just go ahead and cancel that insurance. Like, what would be the long-term repercussions of just canceling out your insurance, not paying it? My license is suspended. Why would I pay it?
Yeah.
What happens then?
Well, the biggest problem that you're going to run into is you're going to chance having a lapse of insurance. Not chance it, you're going to have a lapse of insurance.
What happens then?
Well, a lot of insurance companies, are we talking just on the OVI side?
Just
or are
on
we
the OVI,
okay.
yep.
So insurance companies are still going to not look at that as favorably. And I'm not saying they're just going to refuse you coverage, but as far as the cost goes, it's going to be more expensive from not having insurance and letting that lapse happen to whether if you would have just kept it going through the entire process.
So you would suggest, like, even if your license is suspended, still maintaining that coverage?
And a lot of times too, because, you know, people get their driving privileges for work and things like that. Just because your license is suspended, a lot of times the court wants to see that you even have insurance before they'll give you your license back.
Give you your privileges?
And we can provide coverage for that.
Absolutely.
So
good stuff. Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, it's a natural response to, I got charged with OVI, I got court fines, fees out the wazoo. Like, what can I do to immediately cut costs? That way I can survive, you know, because it's like, most people don't have an extra $1,000 or $2,000 laying around just in case I get caught for an OVI, but that's typically what it costs somebody, you know, between $1,000 and $2,000 on an average, you know? So if that's my situation and I'm thinking, man, and my license is suspended, like, it's just a natural, logical sequence of thoughts to be like, okay, keep paying the extra 100 and something for insurance, or just cut it off. My license is suspended anyways.
Sure. Yep. And in some cases, you know, if it's that extra 100, when you decide to pick that insurance back up, it might be an extra $250.
Absolutely. Yeah.
A month. And that's just, to me, that's not worth it. Again, you know, everybody's circumstance looks different. It's not a cookie cutter with everybody. We'll sit down, we'll go over all the options, and then at that point, it's your decision to decide. I can only advise you. I can't make the decision for you.
Yeah,
so.
and I think the big problem that most people face is they don't even know what their options are.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You've just got, like, so when you're charged with OVI and, like, you have all these new consequences and all this new stuff popping up, it's like, no one's trained for that or prepared for it. Like, no, there's no manual that says, okay, when you're busted, do this, this, and this, right? You may have an attorney that can walk you through the court process and hold your hand through that. But when it comes to navigating life, there's not many people who are there to say, okay, look, even though your license is suspended right now, like, here's a bus route, here's this, here's another form of transportation. Check out Uber, check out Lyft, like, do whatever it takes to continue to stabilize your life, because this is all temporary. You know,
all like, temporary.
You will get your license back. You will get another car. You will be able to, you know, go to work or keep your job or get a new one, whatever it takes. But it's just that it's weird, because, like, I say natural thought or natural response for somebody like me, because I'm thinking, man, I got to save whatever I can, you know? So it's like, and I'll do that, and I won't think of and this is what I notice in a lot of people too, is that they fail to think of the long-term consequences of the actions that they take today after they've been charged with OVI.
Right.
So, yeah, it definitely helps out. So check this out. Like, so at our program, we also, we do the 72-hour OVI class, which is mandated by the courts or by the state for anyone who's charged with OVI in lieu of the 3 days in jail. One of the benefits of our course is that we offer the 8-hour adult remedial driving course, right? So a lot of people think that that's a 2-point, they call it the 2-point class, right? And they think that, well, if I take this class, I'll get 2 points knocked off my license, which is not true, right? You get a 2-point credit, right? So it's just a credit on the back end of the 12-point suspension. So, you know, and every traffic violation carries a different penalty when it comes to points on your driving record. OVI, however, carries a 6 points on your driver's license. So what would you, from an insurance perspective, right? I know in my program, I think if you're going to go through the class and we're offering the remedial, you might as well go ahead and take advantage of that too. But from an insurance perspective, if someone's been charged with OVI and they can come in and say, Scott, you know, I was charged with OVI. You know, I completed a program. I took a remedial driving course. Like, here's my certificate. Can I apply this to my driving record or just note this in my file? Would that help them in any way, shape, or form whatsoever?
You know, with our companies, what I love is a lot of people think that the bigger companies out there are less expensive, easier to deal with. For me, what I love about the companies that we represent is I can pick up the phone and make a phone call and call and ask. Most of the time I'm going to say no in that situation. The OVI, even if it gets reduced to reckless op or I'm trying to think of
physical control,
insurance companies still look at that as an OVI. They are on to what's going on there too. It's basically you had a good attorney,
right?
I'm assuming. However, you know, that will stay on your driving record for about 5 years.
The OVI?
Right.
Okay.
But there's a lot of other factors, too, that come into play where people will come in and say, well, my friend got an OVI and I got an OVI. Why is he paying $100 less than me? Well, he didn't also get in a car accident with that OVI and hurt someone or cause property damage.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, it's easy to sit in there and watch this stuff, but when the lights are flashing, it's a little intimidating.
A little intimidating, Scott.
And then Dana Akers is watching.
Yeah, what's up? Dana says, class act, fellas. Dana, I appreciate the good comment, my man. I know that I appreciate seeing all the good stuff you got going on in Springfield and all the country you travel. Do you know this gentleman here?
I don't. Oh. I do know Dana just changed the name of his business, which is exciting news. And then Solomon, is that Arthur's wife?
That's Stas. That's
his brother.
Yeah, it's his brother.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the first name.
No, yeah. What's up, Stas? Good stuff. Arthur. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your feedback, my man. So Scott got a little intimidated real fast.
I did. I'm sorry. I'm sweating here.
So it sounded, so the question I asked you was, is a remedial driving course beneficial to somebody who's been charged with OVI? And it sounds like the answer that I got from you is it depends.
Yeah, it does depend. Yes. I mean, again, to me, all of that stuff is good.
Right.
It's all part of the learning experience.
Yep.
You know, each company, I mean, if you bring me in a certificate, and in all fairness, I haven't seen one yet. Okay. No one's brought one in to me personally. But I'm going to pick up the phone and call an underwriter and say, look, is there anything that we can do? I mean, sometimes, and we can work things out or have that discussion where it's like, look, I know maybe this doesn't fall under this discount or whatever, but you know, they're taking the proper steps. I know a lot of that goes to, you know, the insurance companies are looking at whatever the court reports. Mm-hmm. So if the court reports the 2-point reduction, I'm not 100% familiar with how that works exactly, but it's definitely something we would make a phone call about.
Yeah. So basically so let's say somebody hits that 12-point suspension, right? Mm-hmm. Automatic driver's license suspension. Mm-hmm. And then a requirement to obtain their driver's license after that suspension is to attend a 2-point remedial driving course class. So that's what we offer. So, and the benefit of the course, so let's say someone got charged with OVI and reckless op, and for whatever reason, they've got 10 points on their driving record. So if that person was to get privileges or get their license back, and if they were to go out and get a 2-point speeding ticket or a 2-point violation, bam, that's not just a 2-point violation when you have 10 points. Now you have accumulated 12 points, which is a suspension, fines, fees, SR22, like a whole bunch of crap that comes along with that. But the benefit of the remedial driving course is that, let's say you had that 10, right? The 2-point credit would actually turn that 12-point suspension into 14. So it'll give you a 2-point cushion, right? People think, well, if I take the course, it'll be a 2-point, just 2 points falls off my license, which isn't true. So we always have to explain that as well. But, you know, and I think that the moral of the story is, like you said, it depends most of the time, right? There's a lot of factors that go into this stuff. There's different providers, there's different insurance companies, there's different underwriters. And I always suggest the best course is just 100% straight up honesty. You know, even if you made a huge mistake, you look bad, you feel dumb, you wrecked your car, whatever you did, like the best thing you can do is just be able to be proactive and say, look, I made a mistake. What are the consequences? What can I do to make this right? Absolutely. What can I do to repair this as soon as possible? You know, because I know that trying to brush it under the rug, or maybe they won't find out, or I shouldn't have to tell them, I don't have my rights, you know, all that stuff. Like, I think it's best just to be honest up front, you know, because the last thing you want to do is have all of your insurance policies bundled together and then make a mistake drinking and driving and then lose all your coverage because of a simple mistake. You know, that would be bad. So from an insurance standpoint, is there anything that anybody could do that could potentially save themselves some money on their insurance costs after they've been charged with OVI that you can think of off the top of your head?
Not that I can think of, no. I mean, again, factors that have happened over the course of time anyways, clean driving history. It's not like, again, when you get that DUI, it's not like everything just stops and your life is completely ruined. You know, if it's your second and third one, you're going to have bigger issues getting a hold of it or obtaining coverage and, you know, getting a premium that you can even afford. 'Cause that's a big one too. I mean, there's people that we've tried to help or assist that they've just had so many that when it comes back, the insurance company, like I said, they look back 5 years, but in those 5 years, there were 4 DUIs. Well, you know, that's a little bit more difficult to deal with than one. So
what you're telling me is there's no secrets then?
I don't have any secrets.
There's no surprises. There's no tricks up your sleeve to save some money.
I don't have any rabbits around here.
Yeah,
pull out of my hat or anything. But
good deal, man. Well, I just think that information like this is valuable for folks, especially for the folks that we serve, because when you're charged with OVI, it's natural to think it's the end of the world, or that no one wants to help, or nobody understands, or everyone's judging you, which, in reality, some people are judging you, but the facts are there are people out here who are compassionate, who understand.
Absolutely.
And I know this man right here has a heart of gold, so I'm definitely not trying to give him a big insurance pitch, but if you have any insurance needs, or you have any insurance questions, or you need any insurance advice, this man makes himself available at the drop of a dime.
That's right.
So, Scott, I want to thank you for hopping on. We've been here 25 minutes. Long time, huh?
I feel like I've been in a tanning bed for 25 minutes. That light's hot.
Yeah. So tell me, so you guys, if you guys check out the Elliott Insurance Facebook page, you guys shot a really cool video, right?
Yeah.
At a Scene 75, right?
Yes.
Tell me about that experience, because if you watch that video, what the theme is insurance is fun, or
insurance is fun. Yep.
Right. So tell me about that experience shooting that video.
Sure. So we sat down with the people that did that video for us, and just came up with what we wanted to do. And what was really cool about it is Tim Elliott, the owner of our agency, he kind of gave me free reign of the creativity on that.
So that was your idea?
It wasn't all my idea.
Right.
I want to say I was part of it,
right.
But Ethan was a big part of it too. But anyways, so Ethan made a phone call to Scene 75 and told him that I was presenting at this huge conference, and we had the opportunity to really highlight Scene 75, which we did. I mean, we showed it at the conference that we presented at. But it was funny walking around there. I mean, we got to ride around on the go-kart track, and I think we got the film that we needed in 5 minutes. Yeah. But we were kind of like, no, let's keep going. We need
keep cruising.
That wasn't the perfect
take
shot.
25.
And I'll never forget, I had this probably 70-year-old lady walk up to me and go, Are you a YouTuber? Not yet, ma'am. Not yet.
That's what's up. That's funny.
It's
good deal, man. So, and I know shortly after that, you guys as company got some recognition for the video production and just basically the marketing that you guys do. So tell me, and I know it's kind of off topic here, but what was it like to go? You went to, where was it, Louisiana?
Yeah, New Orleans.
New Orleans, that's right. So what was it like to go down there and present in front of colleagues across the country and talk about?
Man, it was a lot of fun. I've been to those conferences before, and I've always kind of envied those guys that are able to stand up on a stage in a room full of people and be able to present with confidence. And I got that opportunity. They asked me to do it after they saw some of the videos that I've been a part of and that we did at the agency. And it was really neat, man. New Orleans is one of those towns where I've been there once, and I'm okay with that now. But it was definitely one of the coolest things I've ever done professionally.
Nice.
Definitely one of the coolest things. Yeah.
Good deal,
for
man.
Sure.
Feels good. Well deserved, my man. You put in the work,
that.
And you're a very good man, and you're a very good insurance agent. I know that the interactions we've had, and I've had some scares. I've had some boys, and it's you've been there for me. So absolutely. I definitely appreciate that. So, Scott, my man, I appreciate your time tonight. Everybody, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, comment below here. I'm sure Scott will hop back in here and answer those questions. If you want to link to him directly, I'm sure he can throw a link to his page on the comment section as well. So hope everybody has a wonderful night. What game did you say was on tonight?
So it's actually in New Orleans tonight. It's Clemson versus LSU for the football.
Who are you rooting for?
Man, I hate rooting for the SEC, but I think I don't like Clemson even more. I'm pulling for Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers.
Go Tigers, folks. Have a wonderful night. Talk to you guys next week. Done.